Okay, got it. So we live now. Record from this computer. Take this right here. Go boom right here. Boom.
Live on the screen.
Live on the screen. My computer is opening up window after window after window. I need to clean this bad boy off. Videos. Okay. Okay. So from here. Here, I'm gonna drop the link into the chat box for y'all, and or unless y'all want me to share it on Facebook, I don't either or.
Yeah, sharing on Facebook, something on my phone. I just get on the computer and share it.
All right, for sure.
It's the last time I got on Facebook.
All right, for sure. So that's on Facebook. So I'll let y'all take care of that. And it will take care of this. Oh. Bro, I be getting on my Facebook sometimes and like my stream, is that what it's called on there, the timeline? My friends be wildin'. Sometimes I be like, I can't get on that like when I'm at like work or nothing like that.
That's how I feel about Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I know, bro. I be like, man, that's why I don't spend too much time on there, man. I know it just it's a wild place out there. But this is a place of refuge for those of y'all with the need for peace of mind. So Be Like Podcast mission statement: we are the #1 mentorship for mindset development, career ascension, education, and leadership cultivation. We are authentic, positive, respect all sex, race, religion, political views, and preference. And we like to have a great sense of humor, like to be funny, like to have a good time. It's now 4/26. We rolled into May. I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm, it sounds like. And welcome back to the Be Like Podcast. It's your boy K.Sloan here with the homies.
J.Jones. I froze for a second, but it shook back. I was like, uh-oh.
Shake back. We here, J.Jones. We got new dad.
New dad.
Yeah.
It's your boy Nate G.
Nate G in the house, and then we got the OG.
That's on mute. It's DeMarcus.
Yo, you don't like that. Why you on mute, bro?
I didn't even know I was on mute. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. MrliftN'Go, if you guys know, then you know.
If you know, you know.
No, you know. What's good out there in the world, man? We got a lot of new things that shook us since the last time we got on here. So, man, what we got going on, man? What's good with y'all? Let the people know what's been going down. Cause we've been out, but we've been up. We've been up.
Been up all night, changing diapers, feeding babies.
Yeah.
You know. So that's what's up with me. Brought my little girl into the world. Shout out to my wife, my baby mama.
Yes,
she
sir.
did her thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Both of them.
Both of them. Yeah. Yeah. And who's next? Who's next?
On what? Kids?
Yep.
Oh, Carrie.
Mine's 11 this year, big dog. Mine's 11 this year, big
Your
dog.
Your second one.
All right, hey, first come marriage, my G. First comes marriage, my G. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, personally, man. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was like, I was had it was my I don't know what's wrong. I'm gonna have to move a little bit or something because I could hear it and I couldn't hear it and I couldn't hear. So I just heard Nick say he changed the diapers to stand up all night. But yeah, I guess from what you said, I'm next. So
Yeah, married man.
married man.
Married man. I know
Two,
you.
two and a half. Been about. She. I froze. Did I freeze?
Nah, you said something and blinked out.
Uh, I said it's been about 15, 16 days. Did you hear it that time?
Yep.
Okay.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Man, I ain't got nothing.
Has it hit you yet?
Shout out to the service providers that want to give us some good Wi-Fi.
Let me get off the Wi-Fi. Maybe I just need to go. Okay, I think we're good now. I got off the Wi-Fi. Maybe the Wi-Fi was just tripping.
DeMarcus asked you if it hit you yet.
Oh, see, yes. Well, yes and no. It ain't like I can't say it's. I feel like, oh God, I'm married, but like when I speak, I say wife instead of like fiance or girlfriend.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's where it kind of what the difference is. You be like, I don't know, that's my wife. Ain't just my girl no more.
Wife.
There's a respect that comes with that too. I see she's already saying, the hubby and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it's a respect that comes with that too.
Yeah.
Powerful though, bro. That's powerful. Congrats to you too, man. That was a beautiful experience. I would say that. I would never forget that experience. All my brothers, man, when y'all get married, bro, y'all invite me and I go. It just be etching in my mind, bro. Just thoughts. I'd be like, man, this is what it's about, bro. This is life. These are the things, babies, marriages, you know what I'm saying, weddings, you know what I'm saying, graduations, like why you shake your head no, bro? What you got to say, man? You always shake
a wedding is not what it's about. It's the marriage that's what's
okay, it's the marriage,
yeah.
bro. I literally said that. That's what's funny. You ain't listening. Cause I said marriage.
Oh, you said wedding.
Bro.
Did I say wedding? Just real. Did I say wedding?
This
Hey,
is
you don't
being
want to ask the
recorded.
person with the bad Wi-Fi. I ain't vouching for nothing right now, but it's going good right now. I heard most everything. So.
It's like Blake.
Right, like that's why I couldn't hear none of the questions y'all was asking me. I was like, I hope I'm responding right.
Nah, I get it though. I mean, bro, it's y'all. It is the whole lifestyle though. I mean, it's a lot to go into it, but I'm ready, dog. Sign me up, coach.
The reason I say that is the wedding is so short lived, and Nate and now Darrell, y'all both have had the wedding. Like the wedding fast, man. you married before you even really get to kind of take it all in. But the marriage itself, the union between you and your partner, the ups, the downs, the valleys, the peaks, the memories you get to create. Like I told my brother when he was on his honeymoon, I was like, man, just start creating memories, man. I mean, this is what marriage is. The times that you get to spend with one another, whether it's good or bad, and then be able to look at it on down the line, be like, hey, we did that, we got through that, we built that, we raised that kid, whatever. It's those are the things that I feel like is about the wedding. You can have a wedding 1,000 times. It's pretty and it's nice. But I think me personally, and I know this don't go for everybody, but me personally, I think a wedding is for everybody else. Like I said at the wedding, the marriage is for the people who get married. The wedding is just, the foundation that you build on.
Oh, that's
the starting piece, the jumping plank or whatever. But don't nobody remember the plank they jump from when they jump in the ocean. They just remember the beauty of the ocean.
Say it again. Preacher man, what you say? Say it again.
I said don't nobody remember the plank that they jump from. They just remember the beauty of the ocean. And the ocean is endless. I mean, it's till death do you part. The ocean is endless. Yeah. And this comes from somebody who's been married twice. And I just learned it from my second marriage. Like, it's the ocean.
Yeah, it's the ocean, and I think that's something that's important to grasp onto, and I think this will segue us into getting into the topics because you know, some people would say that, you know, people that aren't I mean I hear a lot that businesses that work well, you know, it's like you married to those businesses too. And we talking about, you know, going through it and what we're going through today, bro. Like, all right, right now I was looking online and everybody like Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, all the major movers in the stocks right now, they are cutting jobs, as y'all probably know, as y'all brothers be tapping. Everybody's cutting jobs. Each organization is almost, it's like a flex that they're cutting 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 jobs at locations to be able to shrink down the cost, right? And with that shrinking down the cost, they're saying that these cutting of jobs makes the businesses more lucrative because now they cut their costs, but then they increase the productivity by, you know, either putting in, you know, automated positions for those old positions, or just literally getting rid of them and keeping the high performers. So it's that rotation of just people and moving things and keeping things going in the right direction. And I would say that we could take this to real life and say, you know, who is it time to cut out of our life, and whose jobs is it time to cut from our life? You know what I'm saying? Like, and how do you know? And when I say that, like, bro, I was thinking about like the level that I've gotten to right now. I've only gotten to because me being an empath, when I feel what everybody else feels that's in my circle, sometimes I'll just take on all their pain, all they complaining, all their, you know, successes. Sometimes like you'll just totally like immerse yourself in a relationship, but then it end up draining you. And that's why I want to bring this topic up. Like, how do y'all know when it's time to cut somebody's job from your life so that you can, or at least reposition them so you can continue to move forward? Because that baggage can be a lot for you. Just certain people are just literally vampires, bro. They just suck the life out of you. And like for me, it's been a struggle, and it continues to be so because I know if I get too close to certain people and give them, you know, let's say a supervisor role in my corporation, and not understanding that they're an energy vampire and I care about them, I may hold on to them for too long, and now I'm halting my progress. How do y'all know when to cut these people's jobs, reposition them? What's y'all's thoughts on that?
I mean, if you're doing somebody's job and you ain't getting paid for it, then you need to cut their job anyway.
Yeah. I feel like,
I mean, if you want to put it in a business sense, like if you were the CEO, CFO, the owner, the manager, and you're doing so much of somebody's job to where it's stressing you, then yes, it's time to reevaluate their position because obviously they're not handling their own responsibility. Right. That's in the real world, the business world, everywhere.
Right.
And some people, it's not easy because you're emotionally tired, but emotions make you cry sometimes, but you got to cut some of those emotions.
That's hard though. That's hard though when you like I said before though, bro, you an empath because like you said, emotionally, you know, they tell you it's such a contradictory thought sometimes when it comes to dealing with relationships though, because like, okay, if I'm dealing with people, I'm supposed to like get on your level. I'm taking a piece of you to be able to, you know, connect with you, but then you might burn me, and then I have to go cold on you when it's time. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question about being an empath?
Yes, sir. I know you not one. No, I know Nate ain't one. He said, "Can I ask you about being an empath?" Because this is all new to me.
Nah, well, it feels like when people say I'm an empath,
yeah,
it usually feels like I absorb the negative feelings that people have. I feel the negative. I feel like, oh, if I do this, it might hurt their feelings, and I'm aware of that. And that's cool. But why I ask is, if we're talking about removing people from your life, right? This is a person who's not doing that job. Do you not feel the lack of concern for their job role? that they have? Do you not like have that kind of empathy on it to say like, I'm supposed to be your boy, but I'm gonna leave you hanging? Do you feel what that person was feeling or thinking in that moment, or just they're going to feel bad because I cut them out of my life?
Yeah, I think it's that because it's a domino effect. Because when like what Carrie's talking about, like when you get tied in emotionally, you also take in the emotion of that action. Like if I cut this person out, you know, how will they succeed? How will they go on? How will this affect me? How will this affect the relationship? Will it make me feel even worse? Actually, I can handle this because I've been handling it for so long. Gerald know who I'm talking about. I know a man that and gave up his whole house just so somebody else can live there. Like, and he wants his house back. But he won't take his house back because he's like, well, I don't know how it's going to affect the person that's in the house. And I'm doing okay over here. And I got a place to stay. I got a roof over my head. So let's just let the person stay in the house.
Okay. But so do you, I don't know, do you not consider that they just don't care on the other side of things? It's like
Some people don't. I'm with you, Nate, but some people really don't. Some people just care about the well-being of others. And if I'm okay, if I'm content, I'm saving them and I'm content. I'm not happy, but I'm content. I'm okay. And they're okay also. So we're both okay instead of me being great and them being terrible. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like we both at a 5 and I'm okay with that. If I take my house back, I'm at an 8, they're at a 2 or a 1. You know what I'm saying? It's almost
but
like,
I don't think you're both at a 5. I think is what you just said. They're at an 8 and you're maybe at a 5 if you just want to say that, but I don't think is 50-50 on that. If somebody
you're right.
doesn't care, but you care so much that you're basically letting them get away with not caring, y'all
You're
can't
right.
be on the same field with that.
It's messing with me more than it's messing with them. They living free.
Right.
I would say to what you were saying, Nate, the respect for the role is the problem. Is the fact that, and this is what I'm learning now, is the fact that this person that I may be giving so much to is disrespecting the role that they're in. And
Okay, but Pete, now put it back at work. If you go in there and you disrespect your role as a teacher, you're not coming back.
well,
If you really do, we know that it's not every teacher that does their job the right way. But if you really disrespect your role as a teacher, if you go in there and your kids bomb the STAR test every year, all your grades is low, your kids all got disciplinary issues, you in here cursing the kids out, whatever it is, you might have to push the limit, and it might take a couple of infractions on it. But at some point, you're not coming back.
so I think that leash gets longer depending on the position and depending on the entity. I think, and depending on your who you were coming in, I think that plays a role in it too. And I think that you're right. In black and white, you are absolutely correct. I think that you are eventually not going to come back. Like in every role, eventually everybody's going to evaluate and say, "Hey, you are ineffective. You're going to be out." Right. But I think the human component of it is, and with me being an empath, I think I've gotten the same slack when I was a slacker, is that people would like me because they knew I was an empath, maybe in a small role, and they would give me breaks. And it was because they knew that I cared, but I was not performing my role up to standard. You know what I'm saying? Like it almost it's
That's contradictory.
Yeah, like how did they know you care?
How do you know you care, but you're not performing up to standard?
So
not even outperforming. You're not performing up to standard. How do I know you care?
So if you not, so my thing is this, right? So like, okay, whose job is it to get me trained up on my position if I'm a rookie person in this position?
The veteran or the manager?
The manager.
I can give you an outline. I can show you an outline on day-to-day work or whatever, but a lot of that's an outline. A lot of that stuff has to be filled in by you. If you care, then you'll ask questions or we'll fill in this outline. But how do I know you care and you're not performing? You blame that on the instruction or the instructor, or you blame it on the person that's trying to implement the instructions.
I mean, I look at it, bro, from like a coach's, like, because I always think from coaches, player standpoint. If I'm a coach and I'm coaching players, or if I'm a teacher and I'm teaching students, it's always going to fall on the teacher or the coach to make sure that the players or the students rise up to the expectations. First and foremost.
That's not true.
Why not?
Because, especially as a coach,
why not?
We're going to have team meetings. We're going to have install. I'm going to tell you, Kerry, we're running 24 dive this week. This is your job. 24 dive, hit the 4-hole. It's simple.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you, okay, this front, that front, boom. You might have a little bit of give here and there to do something different.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And now we go to practice, and you keep finding the 8-hole every play.
Yeah.
That's not on me.
Now,
I'm going to correct it at practice. I'm going to say, okay, cool. This is the 4-hole, Kerry. We're not running stretch. We're running dive.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, Kerry, now go run dive. And then you run 26 power. And I'm going to say, Kerry, this is dive.
Real.
And then you run and wind back on.
Yeah, but if you allow, if game day, I know practice, but game day, if that kid, it's on us. It's on the coaches. If you playing them, go find, like, if they
you playing them, yes. But if you're not doing the job when I'm giving you chances to do the job, you're not gonna play. If you go as far as to play,
unless we don't have that many players.
Now that too. So okay, boom. So that just made me think about this, Nate. Because what you said is right. You're right. If we go to practice and I keep going to the 8-hole, you tell me to go to the 4-hole, then what you gonna do? Kerry can't do it. Let's get him out. Give me somebody else, right? Okay. Now let me give you a scenario that always used to happen. I get a player that hit the 8-hole 9 times out of 10, bro. That one time be like, hey man, just remember, you know what I'm saying? You gotta hit the 4, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit the 4. You know, we always do that. I saw you did it once, you good. Get into the game, them lights come on, that blitz come, boy out there, he hitting the 6, he hitting the 3. You hold up now, we ain't never did this. I ain't never seen, and coach looking at me like, hey, what's up with your guy? And I'm like, coach, I ain't never seen him act like this. And when I say that some people look like they care, but they can't perform, some people just get gun shy. You know what I'm saying? Some people, they freeze up. Some people in relationships, when it's time to go on that date, they don't show, but they did everything else right. And then they get to that point, and then you now showing me that you can't perform. I think the actual performance is different than the practice. Because if I'm looking at the practice, sometimes dudes is lousy practice people. Like you suck in practice. Like you are a poor practice player, but them lights come on and you know how it goes. Like you know what it is. Bro coming to practice late. He's you know what I'm saying, lagging. And then he go out there on the field, you know what I'm saying, game day, boy, look like an All-American. Like he the best player y'all got on the field. And it's like, how you can't always determine whether or not somebody is like, the cares or not by like that moment where it counted. Sometimes when it counts, they just don't produce.
Okay, so let's use this and say you don't get it right at practice all the time. And I compare this to real life.
Yeah.
You never get it right, but when it really matters, you ball.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to say that your performance outweighs your care?
Capitalism says it does.
Okay. How do we apply that to relationships? How does that really apply? To say, I don't know, what can we use? Love language or something. I want to be loved this way. I want to be loved that way. I keep telling you this, but when I really need you, you ball. I don't really know what a good example of.
You put in cheating.
But,
use cheating. I mean, you do everything, you pay everything. Great guy, great woman. They just cheat every now and then. Hey, y'all know people who've had that conversation. Like,
that one thing.
They are great people. I don't want to go nowhere. We make this type of money. We in this type of position. They just cheat every now and then. I just kind of all women cheat, right? Or they just had to get this off or whatever. We talked it out, and now we back on track. At least we're being open and honest.
And then it's the person's job. You got to say, are you important enough to me to where I'm gonna continue to let you treat me like this, or I have to cut your job no matter how high performing you are because of who I am and how I see myself. When I see, where I feel like first, I may have to cut you, and it's gonna hurt because now I actually rely on you. You my lifeline now.
That's why I think in business, and when you run it like a business, the guy who taught me so much about business, like the first thing you gotta do is take emotions out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause when you start putting too much emotion into it, that's when you get hurt.
Yeah.
That's when you get hurt. That's when your money gets hurt. Like Kerry was saying, if I leave you in your position too long and it's like, I know you ain't the greatest, but we have a great relationship. You might be my pegging wall to where I can talk out things in the office, or when the big people come, you just spot on, just have it all day. Just know how to give the gab, know how to talk, know how to navigate around the place. When when them auditors come, you know how to show them where to go, where not to go. But just in the common landscape of things, you hurt me on my daily books because it ain't working. I mean, at what point at what point does self-preservation kicks in? Because like I was just telling my wife this today or yesterday. They dealing with somebody in their family that's dealing with like dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever, right? And they're debating on going back and forth or should they put them in a nursing home or not. I said at some point, self-preservation is going to kick in. If anybody watches boxing, even Mike Tyson then covered up. I mean, you start getting hit too many times, anybody gonna cover up. Like I got to preserve myself. Same thing in the business. How far are you gonna drown before it's like, okay, this is what feeds my family. This is what keeps us going. This is what keeps. I got all these other people depending on me. Gerald's in a position where a lot of people depend on him. Like, at what point do I take this cancer and say, okay, I can't do it? I don't care if it's your cousin, your boo, your wife, whatever. It's even your child. People have fired their child before. Like, at what point do I say, okay, this ain't working for the long term?
Yeah. I feel like great leaders got that balance though. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to have a balance, but you gotta know where you lie heavier on either side to understand how to maintain that balance. Because you do have to, you gotta feel for the people, but it is important to know when enough is enough for the numbers of things, for the effectiveness, the productivity. If we're not producing, something got changed, bro. Like, and that's for me. I know myself, bro. Like that's been hard. Like I think about 6-7 years ago, bro. There ain't no way I could really fathom wrapping my head around doing like business and like maybe like having to stop working with anybody or like tell somebody that hard conversation that you just not performing like you need to. Like I always feel like I could do more. I could do more. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe it's me. And it's like, no, it ain't you. It's also them. It more so them if it's their job, like somebody said. If it's your job, do your job.
That's why I always say live in reality, man. I never assume the blame for other people. I don't. No. I know what I did. I know what you did. That's not on me. So I don't know that. I don't personally understand taking the blame and saying, oh, I could have done more. Why? Like, why would I do that?
That's true.
I have. I mean, it's just because, like, at my job right now, I'm an assistant director, or whatever. So if my team isn't running like it should run, I might be like, man, what can I do? And sometimes you're right. I might be like, what can I do? And I'd be like, you know what? What I can do is get that person out of here.
I think at work, I think when we're truly
it
talking
takes a
about
couple.
at
I
work
guess
and being a
does take
manager,
2 or
it's a
3
little
times for
bit
me.
different.
It takes a couple times for me to be like, yeah, like y'all said, I might be like, I can fix it, but I ain't about to lose my job trying to fix that person because 2-3 strikes, it ain't me. I didn't taught the person everything I know. You gotta
Some
go.
things you don't even get 2 or 3 strikes with me though. Like if we talking about from a work sense, some things you know what your job is. And going back to showing me that you don't care, if you blatantly do something to show me you don't care, I'm blatantly going to show you you're not going to get paid anymore. You're fired. That's
So
simple.
I say this though with the blatant thing. I try. There. That's hard for me though. To find out that you're doing it blatantly, it takes me some time to look at you, and I gotta know you. And I think that's why it's important for me to get to know people that I work with that are at least in my immediate, you know what I'm saying, network. Because like I want to know that this isn't just something that I'm misinterpreting. I don't want to say you doing something that you're not doing. Like if you doing it, I want to know you. I need to know like kind of how you think a little bit, your moral compass a little bit, like so that once you try to actually do something that's trying to hurt us, okay, I know you hurting us. We can't rock with you.
Let me ask y'all this.
Yeah.
Do you think, let me figure out how I want to really phrase this. Do you really think people make more mistakes than they make conscious choices?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't think I say this. I say why I say it so fast because I don't think that a lot of people practice their own thinking anyway. I think a lot of people are just following anyway. So there's a lot of people that are just sheeple. So they just do things and they don't even think about what they're doing. So it ends up becoming a mistake because you're just following. Because we're gonna talk about trends in a minute, but some people are just following trends. So it may be the trend at the time to show up, and do this thing that you keep doing, and you're not understanding that that's not what the way things are supposed to work here. You keep doing that thing, but you're not thinking for yourself. You're just doing what is comfortable right now. And comfortability will get you burned because you comfortable for so long, or you in a relationship with me and you get comfortable doing something I haven't checked you on, and you're not thinking about doing it. I just haven't said anything. And then now I tell you about it, and then you're like, oh, but I gotta have a conversation with you sometimes. Like so that you can know. Because if I don't say nothing, anything gone unchecked, bro, is gonna fester.
But that's what I was about to say though. But you should. The thing with me, I call it my thing in my job is consistency or severity. Like if you consistently 1 minute late, it might take me 3 times to tell you, hey, meeting started at 8:30. Hey, meeting started at 8:30. Okay, I'm right. You like this, but they consistently a minute late. Not that terrible. If it's something like they sleeping with one of my clients, like Nate said, one chance you gotta go. So like it's if they consistently slightly messing up, I can. That's what I'm saying. It depends on what the situation is with me.
Okay? Well then, Nate, I would have to ask you to elaborate the difference between a conscious decision and a mistake, because that sounds like what Gerald just described sounds like a conscious decision, but it also, from Carrie's point of view, can be a mistake because it's like, well, I didn't know.
They should know the first time they do it. That's what I'm saying with Carrie. Like the first time you walk in, because you know the meeting started at 8:30. You were stuck in traffic. Something happened the first time. All right. Cool. Second time, I was stuck in traffic. Something. All right. Cool. Third time, you need to leave 10 minutes earlier. Meeting started at 8:30. Now I'm on your behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're not going to do the same thing over and over. That's why I say if it's just something slight, something.
But even something slight like that, to be late at all, to me, is a conscious decision. That's a conscious choice that you're making because it's your first time going to this place. You have to hit the GPS. You see, okay, it's going to take me 25 minutes to get there. Why are you leaving with only 25 minutes to get there? Why are you leaving with 20 minutes to get there? It's a conscious thing. It's me personally, I hate being late. So I'm really sticking on that one. If I know 25 minutes to get there, I'm probably leaving with about 35 minutes on the clock. Just because it might be traffic. It might be a car accident. That might give me enough time to call and say, hey, I'm 5 minutes away, but I got stuck behind this train. Because consciously I was trying to get there, but things do happen. I think that's the thing for me. Things happen. You can't control everything. And I will give you some kind of leniency and understanding as a human that things happen. when you consciously show me, you were trying to be prepared the way you should have been, you know. But like you're saying, if somebody constantly show up a minute late, bro, you really don't care. You really think it's sweet, and I ain't gonna say nothing to you.
If you never spoke to them and y'all had conversations, because
no, if you have a job and you know the job started at 8:30 and you show up at 8:31, you really think it's sweet and you're not gonna get fired.
Bruh, no, it does not mean that. That does not mean
yes,
that.
it does. Bro, I have personally asked to fire some of my coworkers because they be showing up late. I have personally.
That's why you're arguing for.
Let's get them out of here.
Exactly.
Because who don't know when they don't know when they who doesn't know when they get hired?
Look, Nate.
I'm to the tank now. Hold on, y'all see the arrow. Like, hold up.
Kerry is the guy from the Whataburger commercial. He know he late, but he coming in with food and everything. He coming in happy. He gonna come in. Look, Nate, he coming in talking to everybody like he ain't late. Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Oh yeah. They was late with the cinnamon rolls. That's why I'm about 5 minutes late. Man, but I got y'all honey butter chicken biscuits.
It's really been a struggle. I'm not gonna cap. Like, it's been a struggle throughout life. It really, bro, since a young man. And I'm not making excuses for anybody that shows up late at all. Not making excuses. You're supposed to be on time. That's actually like a paramount pillar of, you know, showing people that you care, is being on time, being early. That's actually Super Duper. Y'all, he said it when we was at the wedding, man. He said, yeah, I always told him 15 minutes early. And I was like, yeah, I like that. I was like, I'm gonna take that on, because I think it's important that we show up and be on time, and, you know, so that we care. But for me, respect. It's a respect thing. It's a respect thing. But it's been something I had to work through. You know what I'm saying? I've always had to work through it. I'm doing better now than I've done in the past. But it's a team effort for sure. I'm saying it's a team effort for sure. But I communicate though. I'm a communicator. If I ain't on, you know, my thing is I'm gonna let everybody know what's going on. I'm gonna stay in the loop. I'm gonna stay, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's, now I'm going back on that side of the empath. Me knowing that I'll deal with people like that sometimes. You let me know what's going on, man. I can work with anybody that can communicate with me. But I feel like it gets disrespectful when you don't communicate with me. If you communicate with me, then I feel like I can have it to where I don't have to have you, maybe, like, if there's flexibility, you don't have to be there at that time. Maybe you got something else going on. I don't know. I'm cool with that. Personally, I have flexibility in my classroom, in my, you know what I'm saying, my workplace, in my, anywhere I'm in charge, bro. It's like everything don't require everybody to be there at the exact same time all the time. It's not like that all the time. I don't see things like that. Personally, in my mind, I can't even wrap my head around that concept. Now, wow, I can't. I really can't. Like a uniformity, like everybody do everything the exact same way every single time.
No. Before 8:30 is not the exact same thing. Okay. I might get there at 8:08 or 8:09. You get there at 8:14. Right. It's before 8:13.
So if it's before 8:30, then I'm gonna tell everybody this. If that's the absolute time y'all supposed to be here. All right, look, everybody be here at 8:15.
No.
And we got things,
bro. I don't
we got things to do. Hold on, wait. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. What, man? What? Talk to me. What?
That's just we all just came from that. Just like a wedding. There's some people, the wedding started at 8:30.
We weren't mad at
8:30.
Okay.
It started at 8:30. Don't mean that you need to get there at 8:31, because most places you get to a wedding at 8:35, you done missed the wedding. You outside waiting for them to finish because they ain't letting nobody mess up this day. Same thing with work, meeting, or anything that has a start time. If we all look at how restaurants treat you. If the whole party's not here at the start time, then not everybody has to wait.
But
or you restaurant lose your position.
But when you know who you're dealing with, you set it to where you have them early.
But why should
Bro, what time you told me to be at your venue? What time you told me to be there, man?
One.
Huh?
About 1.
Why?
1:30.
Why?
Well, that's because everybody was getting there at 1 to 1:30.
1 to 1:30.
But you know, we take pictures and everything. But I would not do that. The reason, and I'm talking about grown-ups too, you know, like grown-ups with my job.
Yeah.
I'm not about to. If you don't care enough to get here by 8:30, you know the meeting started at 8:30. I'm not about to tell you get here at 8:15. Because what you gonna do for 15? Like, I'd rather you get here at really like 8:23. Because you can sit down, you can talk a little bit, and then we start the meeting. 8:15, you just gonna be like looking at, because I'm gonna get there early, like 8:08. So you get there at 8:15, we're gonna be like,
My G, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all, bro. If we
And
got
he got Carrie his name. He just don't care.
if we hey, look, if we gotta be there look, Nate, if we gotta be there 8:30, bro, I'm not finna be up in there at 8:20. I'm not finna be up there 8:15. And not naturally. Naturally, my brain does not say, oh, Carrie, let's go ahead and get up an hour early so we can be. No, bro, it's not gonna take me that long. Like I'll be like, I hate waiting. So that's something I'm working on. Just like people will hate waiting on me to get there. So I'm meeting in the middle on this. I'm getting
Meeting in the middle. Where's the middle at?
the middle's
The
on
middle
time.
is being on time.
The middle's on time. So I'm meeting in the middle of this. Nah, it's been a challenge though, bro. I ain't gonna cap. It's been
When you were a coach, if your meeting started
Yeah.
at 9:00 and you got there at 9:05, and all the kids were there, that's gonna make the lead. And that's why I say I'm the leader of my team.
right.
So I don't need them to be like, oh, if you get there at 8:35 every day, you don't care, I don't care. Because I need them to care.
And that's
my team.
exactly what people say. If you don't care, I don't care.
And
That's why I say, Carrie, if you're not there on time, then that's a sign that you don't care.
And so now relate that back to what we're talking about with your relationships in life. If you don't care to hold this person accountable, if you don't care to say, hey, you can't cross this line, you can't do it this way, they don't care. And this is why whoever y'all talking about don't have their house no more, because you crazy. Boy, I'm finna show up and somebody finna get kicked out. You finna be on the streets.
on the street. You ain't lying though. You ain't lying.
You ain't lying.
Oh God.
I ain't gonna. I think that
one side is showing that they don't care. I'm sorry. One side is showing that they don't care.
That's it. Pete, that's why I really don't believe people make mistakes, bro. I don't think people, I know I call people dumb a lot. I think people really are dumb. And sometimes it's a struggle for me because I don't actually grasp the concept that you truly do not think about things. And maybe that's just a struggle for me. But I don't actually get that. For you to say, oh, I didn't think about that. I was unaware of that. No, bro, you knew and you did not care. And that's cool. If you don't care, I'm not telling you that you have to. I'm telling you to take that somewhere else. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
here,
if you don't care, coming from a person that knows well, Harry, when you get there at 8:30, what do you feel like right when you pull up and it's 8:30 and you like, do you feel like, whoo, I'm on time, or do you like, whoo, let's see what this is about?
No, I feel like I get if when I show up somewhere, okay, let's be fair. Okay, let me keep it real with y'all, right? Most times I try to get there about 5 minutes early these days. I'll aim for 10. I'll aim for 10, but knowing K.Sloan, I'm gonna hit the stove real quick because if I'm too early, I get anxious. I don't want to be in there just looking at y'all. I'm gonna get something real quick. I show up and then usually I'm about 2 or 3 minutes, you know what I'm saying, early. Not the 15-minute guy. I'm not that guy. So when I show up 2 or 3 minutes early, I'm thinking less work. I don't like wasting time. And I think a lot of people like to have that communion before we start doing stuff. Bro, I don't want to talk to y'all about stuff that don't got to do while we here. And that's not my thing. Like, I like to get to it. That's just me. I mean, y'all the homies. I'll do it with y'all, but I'm not trying to do it with everybody. I'm not trying to just be up in here like, nah, bro, like, let's go ahead and get started. Like, that's my thing. But out of respect for the mindsets that I deal with, I make sure I'm on time. And you know what I'm saying? I do a little bit of meet and greet and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Grab it.
You ain't got time for that. You don't have time for that.
It's so crazy how different thought processes work. I literally show up at our staff meetings early so I can get a seat where I don't have to talk to people. I get a seat that's up at the top of the auditorium where nobody really sits over here. I done already scoped it out. Don't nobody sit over here. I'm posted by myself. I can be on my phone. Ain't nobody gonna really bother me. And I can be one of the first people to walk up out of here when they say y'all dismissed.
The early bird gets the worm.
That's facts.
But no, Kerry, I understand in leadership or in any relationship, like when somebody's not holding it down, I gotta look. I'm not. I don't know. I ain't as good as you with feeling everybody feels or feeling sorry for people, but I get
I didn't say feel
overcompensating
sorry.
sometimes. Okay, not sorry for people, but I overcompensate sometimes when I feel like I can do more because I do feel like, oh, I can't do more. They don't have to do that. I can do more because I feel like I can, and I think that's just confidence in myself. Like if they don't get it done, I know I can get it done. So I feel that because at work I do things like, hey, if you ain't gonna get it done, it's my team. I'm gonna make sure it gets done. So
That's cool, but think about your capacity as well. If you start taking 1% from everybody, you only supposed to have 100% capacity. Now you at 110% and your battery overloaded. Now you go burn out quickly.
But see, I've done the work to where I feel like if I'm in a position of leadership, I've done a lot. Like if I'm in charge of anything, I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of inner work. I've done a lot of deliberation before I took on this role. And when I take it on, I'm taking it on with the understanding that if this does not work out, it's on me. And whoever else I'm leading this ship with, it's on us. Like I do want you guys to do your job. I'm going to encourage you to do your job. I'm going to facilitate the situation, but let you not come through. It's getting done. Now, when we get it done, when we finish the mission, we may drop you off the ship, but it's getting done. It's just like it's getting done. Yeah,
that's part of leadership is you're going to have to do it. I'm not saying don't be willing to do the extra work when you have to, but to consciously, I think my thing is don't consciously keep saying, okay, I'm gonna take it on. Okay, I'm gonna take it on, and I'm gonna keep taking up for you. You got one, bro, and it better be a good excuse as to why you couldn't get it done. Give me an actual reason as, oh man, I was in the emergency room with my mom's or something because life happens and it's real. And you know, hey, you know what? That's what I got your back for. We're a team. Boom, water under the bridge. Let's move on. But I ain't gonna drop his name. But one of my coworkers then left us hanging so many. We was at the Christmas party. We both taking shot. We going shot for shot at the Christmas party. I'm at the J at 8:55 in the morning. That's late for me. We open at 9 and I'm there at 8:55. I'm late. I'm usually there at 8:40. Man, where your boy at? Your client sitting right here. Where your boy? Hey, it's 9:30. Where you at? You leave me hanging. I said, well, y'all can take his money and put it on my books because you ain't about your business.
Right.
DeMarcus, what about being a man, like in a relationship? Because I always hear you talk about like how men have to overcompensate. You don't think you naturally? Because I feel like you take on a lot. So
why you got the squash it?
And this is, to be honest, this is one of the things I struggle with. Mm-hmm. It's just like a child, or even we can even say the relationship, first impressions or whatever. The first time you let somebody get away with something, now they can always go back and like, well, but last time you did this, or well, this is what you showed me, or this is what you've always done. And when it comes to where it's always on your plate, when I look around, I'm like, I cooked all the food, but I'm not eating nothing. Then it becomes a problem, and then you get to the point to where you cutthroat, or I'm mean, or I'm an a-hole because it's like, well, I'll just stop cooking. So yes, that's the issue of what Kerry started the conversation off with. When you start doing somebody else's job, when it gets to the point of I'm not getting paid, I'm not being compensated for this job that I do, you still being paid, you still getting work, you still getting PTO, you still getting everything else, and I'm not getting that, you're going to get to a point where you get burnt out. I mean, we all human. You're going to get to a point where you get burnt out. Then when you get burnt out and you've let it go on for so long, now we got to learn how to cut stuff off, but when you let it go on for so long and you get burnt out, everybody gonna look at you like, what's wrong with you? You've always done this.
Yeah.
That's a relationship, that's a business, partnership, a football team, basketball team. When you get burnt out for doing all the work for somebody else, the people that you've been doing the work for are gonna look at you like, well, you've always done this. What's wrong now?
Yep. And then what be real crazy, real crazy is when you fill a role of somebody that used to do all the work and you come into that new role and they be expecting you to do all the work. And you gotta check everybody in the situation, be like, yo, this is me, and I am not like
No,
this.
for real.
No, there's no way I'm about to do all the stuff y'all had that person doing because you weren't helping them. You know what I'm saying? This is a team. If it's a team, then the team needs to do the work. So, hey, y'all, we're gonna do our roles when I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a conversation. I'm willing to have that one because like we was talking about before, being an empath, I understand what you feel like, you know, when you lose your main contributor, when you lose your Kobe Bryant, you lose your LeBron James. Like, yeah, your team different now. But hey, man, I'm coming in, I'm me. I'm gonna produce, I'm gonna do what I do. But don't be expecting me to come in here and drop 45 every night. You know what I'm saying? When I got, you know, I got some bigs, I got some people that can shoot threes. I got, man, look, I might just start coaching. I might just sit back and coach about, you know what I'm saying? I might be coaching and y'all run the plays. You feel me? Like, that's me. I want to see y'all eat. So I could do my thing. You know what I'm saying? That's where I want to get to. I'm not trying to be out here breaking my back hurting, hair falling out, teeth be yellow because I'm stressed. No, man. No, no, sir. Not me.
That's the danger of expectations, man. When you start doing stuff, you set them kind of expectations real quick. Oh, you gonna do it, you'll pick up the slack. No, I won't. No.
No, I won't. Actually, I'm not. Some of y'all thought that.
No, I won't. Because honestly and
That's
truthfully,
real.
it's not a great thing. I understand situations, and I am okay with failure in some situations. And I will let us fail to prove a point.
That's real.
I will. I absolutely will, because I'm not going to do all of the work. If you're not going to do your part of the job, and that's the reason that we fail, I'm going to sit here and say, well, this is burning down, and it's your fault. You had a fire extinguisher, and you chose not to use it.
Oh no, man.
But to what Nate is saying,
I don't know, man.
Nate, to what you were saying, and to kind of put it in the team terms, if everybody plays their role, we should win the majority of the time. Yeah, there's gonna be times we fail, but they got some teams, like Kerry was just saying, some teams have that superstar to where it's like, when we get in the pinch, everybody step back because we know the superstar gonna go take care of that, or we know everybody's scared of the superstar. But even then, the superstar still gets burned down at the end. I mean, look at LeBron. Look at LeBron with Cleveland. Like, he was a superstar. He was going to the finals every year, but he couldn't win the big chip because it got to a point to where a team, the Golden State Warriors, whoever, would beat the superstar. And that's how we do in life too sometimes. Like, as a family, as a partnership, as a relationship, as a friendship, if we both pulling our weight, it ain't always going to be 50-50, but if we balance it out and we both pull our weight, then we going to probably succeed for a long time. But if you got a friend, if you got a husband, if you got a wife, and you feel like you pulling the weight and you the tugboat all the freaking time, eventually that tugboat is going to be like, well, I'm stop. I can't keep pulling you, or they're going to burn out to where they can't pull you anyways.
Right.
That is life. That is life. It's not easy for some people. It's not easy for me. Sometimes I can see, this person with the house, I can see where it's not easy for them because they're thinking about all the things that might fall apart. But when the tugboat, sinks and drowns, the boat that it was pulling still can swim on. Like, something's going to fail.
Can it swim on? Because sometimes that boat that was pulling ain't got no engine, got nothing, and it's going down with it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
that's an even better reason why you should cut your ties. Because why should both of us drown?
Yeah. Nate spitting, boy. Nate spitting.
Nate ain't been at work. That's what that is. That's that new daddy Nate. That's the okay.
Oh no. That's Nate.
Okay, Nate. I know we got to move on, but Nate, having the personality that you have, and having a newfound daughter that you have. How far is her leash before you cut off? Like to where she hurting your pockets, hurting you and your wife's relationship or whatever. I mean, that's your daughter. How far is that leash? That's something different.
Baby just came
I don't
out.
know if I have an answer to that one personally, because obviously it's so fresh.
Yeah.
I have to see. But the things that you just said, when it becomes truly detrimental and it's no longer, hey, you're a kid, you're growing and you're learning and you make mistakes, but you're an adult and you're choosing to do stupid things, it's a very short leash for me. It's a very, very short leash. I've been that way with all of my siblings. I'll say that. I love you. With my little brother, I can tell him all his life. I'm 8 years older than him. I love you with all my heart. I feel like my goal in life, my job in life is to make yours easier. I'm going to show you the game. I'm going to help you out every way that I can. But the second you choose to do something stupid, you're on your own. You are. Because there's a difference to me between, man, I really didn't know. Like I always say, I ain't tripping on you for being ignorant, bro. I'm really not. If you don't know something, how can I trip on you? But when you know right from wrong and you choose wrong and you don't have any thought on how that's going to affect you or the people who are carrying you and helping you out, that's too selfish for me, man. I got to cut my ties because you legitimately do not care about me. It's some things I ain't never done in life because I care about my mother and my father. Because I'm not going to put y'all in that situation. I'm not going to drag y'all down because I know when I need it, that's my life raft. I can go over there and say, okay, cool. But if I'm stabbing holes in a life raft, what am I doing here?
Well, I would like to add to this and say perspective, you know what I'm saying, on this topic. I think that there's something to be said about second chances. I do believe in second chances. And I do believe that you do have to cut people off at a time. I think there's always a limit to how much you can take. And it's important that people knows that there is a limit to this. There's an end to this road. And you have to let people know when they've met the end. And I believe that the cutting them off is good. But I think the repairing and the mending of situations is important as well, because, you know, if we bring it to a spiritual sense, you know, God forgave us. He forgives us over and over. You know what I'm saying? We keep messing up. We keep messing up, and He keep bringing us back. And I think that for me, that's kind of how I look at my relationships. Is even though you have messed up and I did cut you off, because I did. If you come back and you are now ready to renegotiate the terms of this relationship, this contract, and I'm willing, and I feel like I can, in a healthy way, continue, then we can continue. And I think repositioning, repurposing is important. I think that's how you know, that's change, that's progression. I think I can't hold on to a grudge of the fact that you either hurt me, wrong me personally. This is me personally. I can't hold that because I may need that same grace at some point. I'm not perfect. I'm going to take an L and it's going to make somebody be like, yo, I got to stop. And I'm going to say, you know what? If I'm really tapped in like that, I'm going to say, you know what, you're right. Move on. We're moving on. And if we got to recondition this, repurpose it, and move a different way, and that is necessary as possible, I think it's essential.
I think you're right in saying repurposing and repositioning can happen. I think that's fair, but those words mean stuff. That mean it ain't really the same. That mean I'm really not rocking with you the same way. We might be able to go and kick it and be cool a little bit now, but maybe that means you can't come crash at the crib. That you can't drive my car no more. Whatever, you can't have my house. I'm gonna call. I want to know what this story is. Honestly, I'm nosy, but it's some things that I might give you another chance to be around, but you don't get the same lease. You don't get the same privileges.
Can you earn that? Can you earn it back?
Maybe, but I don't know what that really looks like because I think doubt is always in the back of your mind. DeMarcus brought up, what if, you know, it's somebody who cheat every now and then? Do you ever really forget that? Do you ever really sit there and say you fully trust this person again? I don't think so.
But do you ever really forget when you've done things to yourself though? Because we wrong ourselves too. Like I think we wrong ourselves at times. Whereas we act like we don't remember the stuff that we did, but we know certain things that we did that we didn't really agree with in life that we had to grow past. And it's like you think about it sometimes and you're like, man, like I'm glad I'm not there no more. But you've been there before. And I think that's kind of the same thing in relationships sometimes. Like sometimes, you know, you don't forget it, but it's like, hey, it's like,
But you can hold yourself accountable. You can't necessarily hold someone else accountable without cutting them off. Having that memory for yourself is enough to say, I don't want to be back in that place. I don't want to be that person anymore. And you can hold yourself accountable, right? I can't control you. Just because I remember what you did, don't mean that you won't do it again. You might not do it this year. You might not do it 5 years from now. But what happens 10 years from now? And we back in the same situation. It's not a guarantee that you're going to relapse and do it, but it's a possibility. So if people don't get to that point, I understand it. I think you can try. I think that's, you know, a sign of maturity or whatever it is of, you know, giving people grace and faith and all of that if you try to get back to that point. But I don't think it's as easy said as done.
the sick empath in me though, this is gonna be crazy too. What I'm about to say is gonna be wild, so y'all just be ready for this. The sick empath in me says that maybe they did that because of something I did.
So you need to go get help.
No, real talk. Because I think sometimes I allow I either helped you do it, I turned a blind eye to it and let you do it, and you thought it was okay, or something. Like I had a role in whatever.
That's what it is. They thought it was okay. It's that simple.
Yeah,
Bro, you can be the nicest person in the world. You can say, hey, I'm gonna open my home to you. This happened in college. I opened my home to somebody. Bro, come kick it, do whatever, you know, what's mine is yours. And you stole from me. I didn't tell you that was okay. I ain't nothing about me ever said taking something out my pockets is okay. Ain't
Right.
never one time. So when you move that way, what you really doing is spitting in my face. You really looking at all of the kindness and grace that I gave you, and you said, I don't care. I want what I want, and I'm gonna take it. That got nothing to do with me. Empath, no empath, whatever it is. That's not me, that's you. So that's why I always say the difference between mistakes and choices. People choose, bro. I don't really think people make a lot of mistakes. Like it's a very, you know, simple way of saying it. I'm not great at math. I say when I make mistakes, it's usually when I'm doing my math homework. I had the formula wrong. I did something a little off here. That was a mistake. I really wasn't trying to mess it up. But when I choose to do something, bro, you in control of your actions.
You can get
No matter how dumb I call people, you are in control of your actions.
You can get the relationship formula wrong too. That's all I'm saying. I think you can get that formula wrong too. I think
You can get the formula wrong, but a lot of it, if you're trying to communicate and understand the formula, is a major part of that. Right? You can have the formula wrong, but if you're not trying to change and adapt, that's a different thing. All right. But if what you're doing is just completely being unfaithful in the relationship, you're, you know, too aggressive, whatever the issues is that are real issues, if you're choosing that, that's on you. That's not just having the formula wrong, that's just you being wrong in your heart.
I'm listening to both of y'all, and there's so much to evaluate because in an imperfect world, you have to add the human element. And for like Kerry was saying, it's like the abuser and the abusee. A lot of people will give leniency to the abuser because, oh, maybe I enabled them, or maybe I pushed them too far, maybe whatever, I triggered something. And you know, yeah, that's a formula, but they add that human element. And even in what Nate's talking about, it's like you always make a conscious decision, but then again, once again, you got to add that human element of the morale, the way they are brought up, what they're trying to achieve, and everything that encompasses on both sides of it, and that's the variable that nobody can control. Like Nate is saying, I tell my kids, you are the master of you, because you cannot control the other person, especially when we talk about humans involved, even in business, even in dealing with, giving somebody a pass, not somebody a pass. You're dealing with a human element. And that's why, emotions and human element, especially you put those two together, those are two things you cannot control, man. It's so hard to control those two things that, that's what life is about, almost to this degree. Like, we dealing with other humans, trying to communicate as much as possible so that, like Carrie was saying, with relationships and having a formula, you try to communicate as much as possible so that we can make this formula that we can write on the wall or write on paper that's a perfect formula, but we got to make that work. And you got to have two conscious efforts to make that work. And without being able to control the other human and their conscious efforts. I'm kind of understanding what Nate is talking about. Like, without being able to control their conscious efforts, it's no perfect formula. So it kind of equates to both sides, to Nate's side and Carrie's side, because you got this human element that you can't put on either side and say which way we're going to go. I can say which way I want to go. Like, I like Nate's stance, because Nate's stance is, I control me. You make that decision, I make this decision. We going this way. I'm going this way. Whatever. And then, like what Carrie's saying, like, well, let me communicate more. Let me overshare. Let me whatever, so that maybe we need to, rewrite, reevaluate the formula so that we can get on the same page. It's the human element, man. That's hard. That's hard to judge and hard to manipulate, whether it's a good or a bad way, to get two or more to going in the same direction.
And I think it's important, and we can move on past this, but I think it's important to to know your personality as well. Know what you can handle when it comes to all relationships, all jobs, all situations where you can't control, where you are, who you're dealing with. What are you able to take on? Like, what can you legitimately take on and handle, so that like if your leash is short, hey, my leash is short, so I'm not finna have 5 people moving into my house that's cousins or friends or whatever, and I don't know where they all at all times type, you know what I'm saying? I know if once y'all do something that's gonna throw me, hey, look, it's done. Boom. Or if you can handle, bringing in all these people, do it. It's based on your temperament. I think it's based on you knowing yourself, doing a personality check, knowing you better, so that you don't put yourself in situations to where it's now you getting taken advantage of, or maybe you being, cold at times because you setting yourself up for failure. You already don't got tolerance like that anyway. So it's like, you gotta know you, I think, when it comes to like knowing when enough is enough, especially when dealing with people, right? Dealing with people. But I want to talk about this real quick, y'all, and then talking about trends, man. So like, this topic was watching trends because they will happen to you. And I heard it explained like this. They say, I didn't understand when I was younger why older folks used to always watch the news. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't get why they used to always like wake up, get the paper, be sitting there with the paper and looking at the news. I was like, this already happened. Like, why are y'all so locked into the news? But as I grew older, and J.Jones, you put me on stocks back in, 16, 15, and figuring out what's coming with the world has done so much for me mentally, to be able to assume my position and prepare and put my family in position and not be shocked and be in a reactionary state. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not always reacting to what's happening, but I more so have a plan, which is kind of where the inception of this came from, us being on the podcast, stuff like that, because this was during the COVID move, and everybody was getting online and we was already doing stuff like this. So it was like, hey, why not start streaming and sharing good stuff, stuff like this. So like, I guess my question for y'all is in regards to watching trends and you guys' take on watching trends, because some people, I think everybody watches trends, no matter what. No matter who you are following a trend. You're seeing trends. but I think your perspective on those trends may be different based on where you stand right now. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, it's like you got kids who watch the trends on social medias that they have access to, and that's what they look as the future. You know what I'm saying? Every kid wants to be an entrepreneur or a social media influencer right now. You know what I'm saying? That's just like every kid, like 90% of kids. Then you got, you know what I'm saying, the people that are like in that realm, like kind of where we at, where everybody knows that tech is taking over. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, man, well, everybody got an AI friend or something like that. Snapchat got a new AI buddy on there, AI bot you can talk to. And we kind of see those types of trends. You know about that, J.Jones? You look confused. Well, they got a little new AI do on Snapchat. They say it's supposed to be evil or something. But back to anyway, with my point though, is just the importance of these trends, man. They to me, I feel like they will happen to us no matter what. Like, we're not getting away from the wave. Like, the wave is coming. Buy the rumor, sell the news. The wave is coming. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to endorse it, whether you want to get behind it, it's coming. Do you know what's the importance of y'all's lifestyle, leading your family, going into your professions, being leaders? How do y'all navigate the trends? What is your perspective on the trends, them coming? Or are they even as important as maybe I'm putting on? Maybe, what do you guys think?
I think certain trends teach you how to move, or it's almost like educate you how society is or what society is. And I think knowing how to move and knowing how society moves kind of makes me move a certain type of way. So like you said, reading the papers or watching the news, or knowing what areas I need to not be in, you know what I'm saying? So like education, it's kind of like educating yourself. And the trends I see, like you said, I don't like the TikToks and the, you know, I guess the influence. I can't say I don't like them, but that's a 1 in a million type thing. Like I don't feel like I want to be that. I wouldn't tell a kid not to try to do that, but I wouldn't put all of my eggs in that basket. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like knowing how the world moves, knowing society, knowing the young people, the old people, our age people. It kind of teaches me how to move around certain areas, around certain people. I like to learn. I like to know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So
I think the scary part of that is trends can be a predictor of what is to come, future or whatever. But some trends are just temporary. Like that's the reason why they're called trends, because sometimes they don't have that long-standing, long-lasting effect. So it helps to navigate what's coming around the corner, but I don't know if it encompasses the whole neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, you can get around the corner with it, but how far can you get with it? And that's just what certain trends, like just like with this what Kerry was talking about with the Snapchat AI, and they have a thing called Chat GPT,
GPT.
where these kids are literally, my son showed me this, like, these kids can literally write a whole paper. It's not plagiarism and it's fully authentic, but they have nothing to do with it. All they do is set the topic and let the AI create the whole paper for them. And you can't even put it in a program to see if it's plagiarism, because it's not. It's authenticated by this artificial intelligence program that somebody built. But how long is that
on there for all the teachers out there? You can check it on Chat GPT.
Yeah, how long is that trend gonna last? Because like my sister's the substitute teacher, and she's they're already trying to get in front of it to kill the trend. And they saying to kill the trend, one of the reasons to kill that trend is to have these kids get up in the front of the class and explain their paper or talk out their paper, you know, or pay attention to how people write or how they think, so that it doesn't add up. But that's becoming the trend. That people writing papers off of this. I'm a parent. I got a son that's 17. I could bring him in here. Like he said, he's using it to write a paper. Got a 95 on. But
see, can we not look at that in a different way too?
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
say that it can be a tool for learning as well. I didn't get to actually watch the video, but I saw a little clip of a video about how kids I want to say it was in China, are using artificial intelligence to enhance their learning. So, okay, cool. Maybe it's a kid who doesn't fully understand the topic. You can use ChatGPT and get it to actually teach you this topic. Yeah, it might write you the paper and everything, but what if it's able to write you something that you can understand a little bit more, and that's a tool to help you learn? I think some of it, we talk about how trends can affect us as a society. It can also affect us in a positive way on some things like that, because that's a new avenue of learning for people. That's a new thing that you can actually bring into the school and say, okay, cool, put your information in here, let it aid you. It's a aid at the end of the day, right? Now it's doing a lot of the work for you, but I mean, what's really wrong with that? A lot of the things that we do in school are very antiquated to the point of what are you really getting out of that? We as teachers know, like, Sloan, these kids don't want to do this work that we give them because it's old school stuff, and the kids legit will sit there and ask you, bro, what am I getting out of this? So if a kid can take the information and they have the information, that's really all that matters. Not that you're able to write a 10-page paper. That really does not matter in life. All right. As much as I used to love to write papers, it doesn't matter. Didn't get me anywhere other than out of English class. That's it. So I think we can kind of shift our perspective on it sometimes. I think if we stay in that old school thinking of, oh, it's just kids finding another way to cheat, that's one thing, and it's always going to fall on the negative side of things. But if we kind of shift our perspective to really ride the wave, for what the wave is, right? If you're really out there in the middle of the ocean and you kind of stuck and a big wave come along, it's going to push you towards a destination. It might push you further away from where you want to go. It might push you towards where you want to go, but you really don't know. And sometimes you got to ride the wave and see what happens with it. And I think stuff like this, especially like the ChatGPT thing, I think artificial intelligence as a whole, so much is moving towards using that. That's a wave that is worth figuring out how to ride. We talked about jobs getting cut. Is people getting cut every day? 4,000 jobs here, 10,000 jobs over here. So you figure out a new skill, you figure out how to use this and make your skill base that much more diversified. That can be a way for you really to propel yourself forward with. So I think it's beneficial at times.
Well, that's why I go back to, you got to learn how to get in front of it, because if you leave it in an unprepared mind's hand, then they manipulate it and they never learn. What you're saying is great. That's probably how it was designed and what it was designed for. But if I presented to these kids that, hey, they can't trace this, they can't do whatever, you can get away with this, they never learned it from that perspective. That's why you got to get in front of it. That's just like the difference between China and America when it comes to TikTok. I mean, their TikTok is totally different from our TikTok, and they're still leading the world when it comes to, the educational value for these kids and growing up. So we just got to get in front of it and teach it that way. If we can get in front of it and teach it that way and not be manipulated, same thing like with a gun. You put a gun in an unresponsible, untrained person's hands, and you're not going to get really good results. But if you train somebody and let them know what it's there for, how it's used, and why to use it, you got a chance of having better results. If we just let AI teach everything, have AI, write papers or do whatever, and now you are relying on AI, and who's controller who? Who's the master of who?
I heard it put like this, you know what I'm saying? When y'all talking about y'all exactly correct. And they say, like with the job situation, all these jobs getting cut. If you fighting for a position at an entity where like they're not hiring really, don't fight to be the last one hired and then the first one fired. You know what I'm saying? Like don't fight to be in a situation where they not really moving that direction. Like things are not moving your direction. You riding against the wave, as Nate's talking about. You fighting so hard with the education and the way we educate that you want us to sit there and just force them to write. Yes, there's benefits to that. But if we can get them another way, maybe the way they're going anyway, we're going to go a lot faster. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not being intentional, if you're not having conversations with the people that you serve, you're not watching the news, then you miss the boat. And I think that's something that I get from this, man. Especially like I was saying about, J.Jones showing me about stocks, bro. Like even ever since the first time you told me about stocks, bro, when I started watching them, I started looking at like how businesses work and like what the earnings reports, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? When I started looking at this stuff, I said, dang, they can predict how they're gonna perform next year, the year after that, the year after that. If you watch like them Shark Tank, like you watch Shark Tank now, it's kind of watered down. But if you watch Shark Tank will have people pitching businesses that they are predicting that they're gonna make, 2.3 million, 4 million, haven't even made 50,000 yet.
Yeah,
But
3 years.
in 3 years. And then they'll be like, hey, we need, 500K, a million from y'all, and we'll give you, 6% equity. And they'll be saying, yeah, because of the presentation, because they understand where the market's going. You understand the market share. You understand where you fit in all of this. And that puts you in a different position in this country than when you don't know your market share, when you don't know, hey, we're teachers. You don't understand that teachers may be getting replaced by robots in 3 years. If you don't understand that you may be out here trying to find teacher jobs, like, man, I can't find no teacher job. It's because you don't watch the news. You don't pay attention to the wave. You're missing the boat, old school. Old school, you might need to get on a computer and find you some distance learning positions where, you could be at the cribbo doing what we're doing now. Like, it's just stuff that you don't want to miss out on when it comes to opportunities. And especially with our kids coming up, they need to be versed from people that know it. When I'm asking you, Dad, when your little daughter come up to you, your son come up to you like, hey, Dad, you ever heard of this? And you like, I ain't seen that one. Then it's like they don't look elsewhere for the information, and then you don't want that too much. You don't want them going outside of the household to try to get an understanding of where we're going. Not too much. I mean, they can, but we want to be able to lace our kids up too,
Embrace and understand change, man. Stuff is always gonna change. And understand, like how you feel about it. You got to experience it to know what you feel about it, really. Maybe you don't rock with it, and that's cool. But you can't just be completely against it because it's trendy, right? Like, you got to give stuff a chance.
Nice. And give the light a chance too. Give the light
Give the light a chance.
a chance, man. We got a new sponsor, by the way. Shout out to Variation of Control. This is a basketball training program out here in Killeen, Texas. They have dropped off a donation, and we are greatly appreciative of Variation of Control and what they are doing for the podcast, and they support what we got going on. So we're gonna shout them out. Have a lot of great players in the area of Killeen, Texas. If y'all are looking for a great trainer, go ahead and holler at Mr. Devontae Brown from Variation of Control. Shout out to him. Respect, brother. Respect. But man, brothers, y'all got anything else for the people, man?
I don't know. Sponsorships are open. Get in the DMs.
Yeah. People been
If you want your business shouted out, come holler at us.
Yeah, we here for that. We here for that. DeMarcus, what's on your head, bro?
I kind of like what y'all said towards the end. Like we get so fearful of change, yet there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say more so run to it, understand it, find it out. You know what I'm saying, and make it work. Like y'all saying, make it work for you. Like Nate gave what you said is literally probably why it was made, because it is a great learning tool. Because you can put in. I have watched it type out stuff for when Brent showed me, and it'll be a great learning tool to get so much information at the tip of your hand. So any subject that you can type in, and we fear the fact of it, dumbifying our kids and not getting in front of it and showing that it's like Google on 100
steroids times 10.
yeah, it literally will. It literally will push you forward at the touch of a couple keys, because Google, you got to search, then you got to click, and then you got to find all this information. It does all that for you after you type in the subject line.
Yeah. I've been sitting there, like, really, that's why I say for the teachers out there who are concerned about it, our like instruction curriculum coach, whatever her title is, she sent out a major email about it where you can, I haven't done this part of it, but what she was saying was, if you think a kid got a paper from ChatGPT, you can copy the paper, put it in there, and ask it if it wrote that. So it will have to give you the answer to that.
Wow.
Like, so it'll tell on this stuff, and you can catch a kid if you just think they cheating on something like that. But bro, since they told us the kids was using that, I was like, man, let me go in here and mess around with this. I've been sitting there learning all kind of little stuff. You actually, like, literally, it's like the prompt is simulate an expert on this and teach me a little bit about this. I asked it, simulate this expert, give me 10 bullet points to learn some information about this. And boom, 30 seconds later, it wrote up this whole little thing. You can sit there and read. It's a crazy thing, man. It's really an impressive thing. So if y'all want to get a sponsorship on ChatGPT, we're open for that, baby.
Let's go. Let's go that part. And man, make sure y'all, same as always, man. Like and subscribe, man. We giving y'all this content. We giving y'all gems. We talking to y'all about stuff that, I don't know where else y'all getting this information from. This is real talk. I feel like I get more from the podcast than maybe some of y'all do, man. Just listening to us have these conversations, I think is beneficial. And if you want to join, please reach out. Also, looking for young people that are wanting to advance and move forward, and we want to bring them together and have a conversation. We want to bring some young people on the podcast, talk to them about mindset development, career extension education, leadership cultivation. We want to do that here soon. So if you got young people you feel like could benefit from a conversation, bring them to us so we can sit them down. We can all have a conversation, same style, and be able to give them some good stuff and help develop, man, because this mentorship is forever. So it's a lifestyle, dog. So, hey, Be Like Podcast, baby. Peace.
We believe the children are our future.